Welcome to Fight for Life, a pro-life radio show discussing the ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, board member and executive director of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And I'm Jessica, logistics specialist at First Choice Pregnancy Services.
We are ambassadors for the unborn. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, friends. Thank you for joining us here today on the Fight for Life. I'm Deb. Jess is here with me. We are ambassadors on behalf of the unborn, here to share with you real life insights and stories in the battle for the unborn. We are doing it solo today because we want to have a conversation with people trying to help equip them and having conversations with those who are on the opposite point of view in this issue. So Jess is going to give you the stats and the weekly update on that, and then we're going to spend the next 20 minutes unpacking some of this and trying to help give you guys some tools and resources so that as you're out at Smith's or wherever you might be and you have people come up to you seeking signatures for putting the baby on the ballot, you feel prepared and equipped to conversate with them. Go ahead, Jess.
Yes. So welcome, everyone. And this is the weekly update from March 28th, April 3rd, or through April 3rd of 2024. First Choice has provided 57 free pregnancy tests and 48 free ultrasounds to the women of Las Vegas. And that was with the Easter holiday plugged in there. So it's not a full 6-day work week for us like it typically is. If you'd like to join the conversation today, which I highly, highly encourage you to do because we are doing something a little bit different today, like Deb just explained, I encourage you to call into the radio station at 702-650-5588. And if you're joining us live on social media, we will make sure to engage with you there at the end for the after show. You can interact with us. Find us on Facebook and YouTube at FCPS Friends or on Instagram and Twitter, FCPS_friends. And you can learn more about this ministry or give a donation on fcpsfriends.org. If you've never called into this broadcast before, we do, again, highly encourage you to do so. So we're just going to dive right into this today. Who else is sick and tired of being approached by these petitioners with a clipboard of lies trying to collect signatures to further the abortion agenda? Are you tired of it?
Well, unfortunately, I have not had the privilege of having anybody come up to me and engage me and asking me for that. I'm so prepared to. I carry stuff with me, but everybody and their mother, my own daughter, has been approached in signing this. So I haven't had the opportunity to engage any of these folks in parking lots, but I know you have twice, Jess.
Twice. I've been approached twice. Once was on Palm Sunday, and the gentleman that approached me happened to be outside the restaurant where we were leaving, and it was also right next to the 99-cent store. And he happened to be high as a kite as he was out there collecting these signatures. But he was sober enough for me to engage slightly with him. So he said, I said, well, what is this about? He says, oh, it's for reproductive rights. I said, okay, and what does that mean? He said, oh, it's for abortion. I said, well, what is abortion? He says, it's killing babies. And the whole tone and his demeanor just dropped. It became melancholy. He understood fully exactly what he was having these people sign for. I ended up circling back to him later on and ended up talking to him as much as I could with him being in the condition he was in, but shared Christ with him, encouraged him to quit his job doing this signature signing and do something that would be more God-honoring and a good example to his children. He agreed with me. But then the next one was just yesterday, and this was in a Walmart parking lot. And this guy full well knew exactly what he was doing, and he had no problems with doing it, except his clipboard had lies on it. It said it was for abortion up to the point of viability, and we know that's not what they're trying to do. We know that they're trying to collect signatures to pass SJR 7, which would make abortion completely legal up to 9 months. This is what we have been talking about now for months, maybe even a year or more now. When we first were alerted to this, we have been talking about this, and now it's happening, it's coming to fruition, and it's time for God's people, we challenge you again, to stand up and take action on this. So today, we are going to give you some very practical, actionable steps on how exactly you can do that. So Deb, what is it that they are petitioning?
They are petitioning so currently abortion is legal up to 24 weeks of pregnancy, 23.6 here in Nevada, in an abortion facility. You can have an abortion up to 9 months if you can get a doctor to sign off on it, and it's done in a hospital. But the Constitution in Nevada, it's enshrined. You can go anywhere up to 6 months. This would allow for you to go to any clinic here in Nevada and have your baby up until the time it's born be aborted. It would remove, currently the child, if it is born alive, has the right to medical care. This would take away those rights and remove those rights from that baby. It would remove parental notification of parents knowing if their minor child, 10, 11, 12 years old, is going for an abortion. It also lowers the standard. Currently, you have to be a licensed physician to perform an abortion. This would lower that bar and allow all kinds of other people. It's so vague you don't even know. Medical professionals, tattoo artists fall under a medical professional. So it lowers the bar to a place that is really a Pandora's box in knowing who exactly is going to be performing abortions. I'm going to read you something that I was sent the other day. Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom announces more than 110,000 signatures collected. Campaign surpasses 50% of total signature goal months ahead of qualification deadline. Reno, Nevada. Today, Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom announced that the campaign to codify abortion protections in the state's constitution has collected more than 110,000 signatures over the past 6 weeks. The latest signature collection milestone represents more than 50% of the campaign's total signature goal and demonstrates the campaign is on track to turn in significant valid signatures by the date June 26 qualification deadline. In order to qualify for the 2024 ballot, the campaign must submit a minimum of 102,362 valid voter signatures, including at least 25,591 from each of the state's 4 congressional districts. The campaign has been actively collecting signatures from all 4 congressional districts and from the reproductive rights, all whatever that is, across the political spectrum. So these folk are moving and shaking, and they are having no problem getting the signatures they need to put this baby on the ballot for 9 months. That's the reality of this.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, and they're doing it, they're being deceptive to the people that are signing these petitions. They're telling them it's one thing and it's actually another. And that's what I have a problem with, is they're collecting these signatures under falsehood. One of them told me straight up it was for abortion. Another one said it was just up to viability. Well, we know that the point of viability is 22 weeks and younger sometimes. And it's already legal in Nevada to do it up to 24 weeks. So we're already past the point of viability. So that's a lie. But if you come up to a woman who's completely ignorant in the topic, she might buy into it. She might believe him. She might believe that wolf in sheep's clothing. And so it's our responsibility, listeners. We have to educate them, because if the Bible says my people will die to the lack of knowledge, right? And that's exactly what it's going to boil down to. If we don't spread the word, even in challenging the petitioners, in a loving, kind way, there's a way that we can try to appeal to them. So what are some of those ways? If you would get approached, you haven't been approached yet, which I am shocked. I don't know how you haven't.
Goes to show you I'm not out shopping enough. I'm working too much.
Hey, I go after work. When I can go, I do go after work, and that is when I have been approached yesterday, and then it was after church on Palm Sunday.
I was so excited somebody approached me, and then it was for RFK and the Green Party, and I was like, oh, I'm not interested.
So what would that look like if you did get approached?
Well, I've had several people. One of our sweet volunteers told me yesterday that she got approached at the parking lot, and she told them no, that she didn't support abortion and wasn't going to sign it. And so she saw the person walk up to another elderly lady, and she went and told the lady, you know what he's asking you to sign? And the old lady doubled down. She knew exactly what it was, and she was all for it. So there's the responsibility of God's people to be salt and light. There's only so much you can do, but it is important. You know, if it's me, I come prepared. In my purse, I carry a brochure from First Choice. It has fetal development on the back of it. It has a 7 to 8 week picture of a baby on it. It gives you a lot of the milestones of development of that baby so that people cannot say they're ignorant of what that baby looks like at almost 2 months old. On the inside of it, it has graphic images of aborted babies. You know, I also carry with me
before you move on, to our listeners and followers that are watching us right now, would you be okay with people coming down and picking up some of those educational materials so that you can be equipped as well?
Yeah, you guys are welcome to come down and pick up information and educate yourself. You know, we've never attained a point in life where we're beyond being educated on anything. I also carry some images of the DC-5 babies, because images of abortion victims is the most effective way to fight this fight. I don't know if I've shared it on radio. I don't think I have. We had the Every Life diaper brought us over 100 cases of diapers and wipies for our March for Life. And I pointed at the pallet of diapers, and I told the guy, this is what it looks like to be pro-choice. And I told him, you know, Pampers and Huggies supports Planned Parenthood. That's not putting babies in diapers. This company is supporting the women who make the choice to choose life by providing them diapers and wipies to put their babies in. And he asked if we were against abortion. And he automatically went to the 1% abortion for rape. Jess and I had a little conversation with him, and I asked him if he knew anybody who'd ever been raped before. And he didn't have any personal connection with anybody. And so I think even for people that don't have that, educate yourself. Get on YouTube. Look up some stories of people whose parents, whose mothers chose life for them in that circumstance. Give yourself some stories that you can share with people when they throw that 1% at you, because the 1% is what they're advocating for the 99% of babies that are murdered. And so I shared with them a story that was one of the most impactful in my life. I was younger, and probably because it was one of the first stories, it's my favorite personally, but it was a young gal named Elizabeth. Her mother had been violently raped by a gang, and she wrote an article for Students for Life. And she said that her mother told her that by giving birth to her, it gave her something she could love that came out of something so horrible and violating that happened to her. And my mind was blown, because we never would come up with a plan like that only God can make something so horrific beautiful. And so I shared that story with him, and he was, wow. And then I asked him if I could show him the Touch of Life babies. We have these Touch of Life babies. I think we've probably showed some of you guys here online before. But they are 7, 8, 9, and 10 weeks. They're the life sizes of babies. And I took out the big Touch of Life baby set, and I asked him if I could show him the development. Elevate it a little, Alyssa says. And so he said sure. So I showed him these babies here in this big briefcase here. And I asked him if he knew how those babies are aborted. And he said no. So I explained to him what an abortion procedure was like on a baby these sizes. And you could tell he was kind of like, ugh. But he didn't necessarily come the other direction yet. So I asked him if I could, this is a 16-week baby. Like about the size of my hand. This baby here, 12 weeks, is fully formed and developed. It just grows 3 months. So I asked him if I could show him some images of the DC-5, which we've talked about a lot, so I'm not going to tell the story behind them. And he said, well, how long is it going to take? And I said, they're right here in this box. Like, I can give them to you. And he had originally said, nah, like, I don't want to see that. And then he said, how long is it going to take? And I said, oh, I can give them to you. They're right here. And he said, okay. So I gave them to him. And he went from one end of the spectrum immediately to the other end. And he said, what are you guys doing to educate people about this? And he proceeded to tell me that he had just been at Fremont Street with his wife. He was from Wisconsin. And he said these two ladies were standing out there back to back with TVs hanging on the fronts of them. And they had 4 ladies passing around leaflets. And these TVs had graphic images of animals slaughtered. So they were against people eating animals. And he said, you know what? It was so effective. You guys should get these images, and we should go down to Fremont Street and educate people on abortion. It only took 5 to 10 minutes to have a civil conversation with somebody, to reason with them and educate them on this, and then show them the reality of what that looked like. And he went from okay with it to sitting here saying, go share this on Fremont Street. So when you see these people out in parking lots, remember, this is a spiritual battle. The devil is all up in this. Child sacrifice is what Satan wants. When you see them out there, more than likely they're union people out there doing this, or they are George Soros funded individuals. Be Jesus to them. Be kind, be courteous, reason with them. Some of them might not want to talk to you. Maybe you're not going to have a conversation. Take a piece of literature, or take an image, buy some literature offline. Just give them something to think about and go along your way. But it will not hurt you to take a few minutes to talk to people, because if you reason with people, the majority of people, when they know what it is, don't want to own that.
So like Deb was sharing, she shared some visual tools and some facts to support those tools, and having this very engaged conversation. He was intrigued. And so that is some of the things that we're going to go over real quick. So what are some things that we can be equipped with in having these conversations and be prepared, like the Bible says, at any time, right? Be prepared at any time. So one, current legislation, right? What's the current legislation say? Well, that is 24 weeks. It's legal. Abortion is legal up to 24 weeks. 2, what is it that they're trying to pass now? Know what they're trying to pass, because they're going to tell you a lie. And that is, they're trying to pass abortion all 9 months under a constitutional amendment called SJR 7. 3, what is the point of viability of a pregnancy? What is the point of that viability? Well, we know that by 22 weeks, babies have been born, and with the help of a NICU, they have survived and they thrive. Again, 24 weeks is what it's legal up in Nevada. 4, visual aids, like Deb was just showing you. Graphic image pamphlets, which you're welcome to come down to First Choice and obtain some of the ones that we have already prepared. Videos, you can go to whatisabortion.com and have videos there. There's videos on priestforlife.com. Culture Shift for Lot.
Website's
not available anymore.
Lila Rose Live Action has awesome stuff. Go look up The Procedure with Kevin Sorbo.
Yep, that's a really good one. That's
Choose Life 42.
That's an animated one. So if they're not, if the audience would rather see the animated one versus raw footage of aborted babies, that would be a good one to go to. The Procedure, it's on YouTube. Educational material of some other kind, these Touch of Life babies, development for the babies. The reality is, unless we can appeal to someone that human life is sacred, we're not going to appeal to their conscience on this. So we have to sustain that human life starts at conception. We know that when sperm meets an egg, biology tells us, very basic biology, a whole new human is formed. It is not the mother, right? That is a huge argument. My body, my choice. It's not your body anymore, right? Because that transaction has happened. The egg has met with the sperm, and a whole new person has formed. And we know that's even supported by the Bible, but it's also supported by biology.
And the other thing you need to understand that I never knew until about 5 months ago is that the vast majority of people that support abortion think it is a clean, neat, and tidy procedure. They think it's something similar to a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. So educate yourself even on how abortions are done.
Yes.
Articulate to those people what it is they're supporting. You are supporting a baby that is alive and viable, being barbarically torn limb from limb in its mother's womb. The baby could survive. The baby is totally able to live in what they're advocating for through 9 months.
And then to back that up, additionally, educate yourself on developmental facts of the baby. When does a heart start beating? When is that, Deb?
Between 18 to 21 days, within the 3rd week of life.
And when is that baby fully formed?
It is fully formed by the 3rd month. By the 3rd month, that baby is fully formed and developed. It just grows.
So additionally to the graphic imagery pamphlets that we have, we also have educational pamphlets on developmental stages. You're welcome to come down to First Choice and get a kit that you can take with you. We would gladly give you so that you can go over all this with anyone that you come in contact with, and you'll be fully prepared to have this intelligent conversation with people.
Yeah.
So I know that we had a story that we want to share with you very quickly. We did have a woman that came in this week that wanted an abortion, and she thought she was at the abortion clinic. She already has a toddler, and she's 2 months pregnant again in a very hostile relationship, and she did not want her child to be subject to that environment. They ended up breaking up, and she found out she was pregnant after the fact. He says he doesn't want the baby, and so she was actively seeking out that abortion. Then come to find out after they broke up, she also has contracted an STD. Mm-hmm. So with that, she comes to First Choice looking for that abortion, and after consulting with her advocate, we at least got her to stay for the ultrasound. I don't have an ending to that story yet.
She's 8 weeks. Mm-hmm, okay. She was going to go back and talk to him, but she has a baby, a little baby, and she's just like, I can't do this by myself. So just pray that when she goes back and talks to him, that God would work in that situation and surround her with family members and those who would encourage her to choose life for her baby. We'll try and find an update for you guys for next week.
Yes. So we also want to encourage you to come out, mark your calendars. October 4th is going to be our banquet, and then our memorial is going to be
June
on
22nd. And mark your calendar for May the 11th, because we're going to do something special in the morning to try and give all of you guys in one spot some tools in this battle to figure out where your spot is in this issue and really dive in and make a difference before November.
Everyone have a blessed week.
Is it. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for joining your ambassadors for the unborn on the Fight for Life radio today and every Thursday on KKVV 1060 AM, the best news radio, the gospel airship.
If you'd like to support the cause of saving unborn babies, or if you have a question you'd like us to answer on the air, go to fcpsfriends.org or call us at 702-294-CARE. Again, that number is 702-294-2273.
On behalf of his little ones, thank you and God bless.